I just stopped by Michelle's Taste of Asia, Asian restaurant downtown, and she needs some basil. Right now she wants 6 ounces. So I've kind of got an out of control basil situation here. So I'm going to be cutting this, wow, I'm going to cut this all the way down here, I think. And for her restaurant, I go ahead and clip off the stems. She doesn't need all that. I have 7 ounces of basil here. I'm only charging her for 6 because my scale's kind of goofy. I want to just make sure that she gets a whole 6 ounces. And then I just quickly made an invoice. I use Invoice Simple app on my iPhone, and it's just really handy. So this is the little business right here, Michelle's Taste of Asia. Okay, so I have to harvest 8 bunches for Twisted Root Market, and I'm going to be pretty generous. Usually I do a bunch, which is about 1 ounce, but I think I'm actually even do more than 1 ounce today because I've got a lot of basil. I don't want to do like way more than I would normally do because then people kind of expect that, what, she's being stingy this time. So that's 2 tops. Let's go 3, fuck it. So that's freaking huge. But whatever, right? I don't know. Should I do that, you guys? Sure. Why the hell not, right? And these things are really hard to, if the stems aren't very long. Oh, here we go. Can you see that? They're kind of hard to get into a good rubber band. And what I used to do is I kind of put it up, I actually put it in the middle. I would take the top part so that the rubber band gets stuck between the top part of the leaf and the bottom part. And I hold that, each of these guys like this and like that. That's a little goofy. And then I can just loosely put the rubber band around. Did I do it twice? I can't remember. You don't want to crush the leaves. It's kind of a pain. So then they're loose like that, but they won't come apart. So that's one bunch. This little fellow has horns. And there's a deer butt. Little buddy, I need to work on my sugar snap peas today. I'm gonna need to be right over there where you're at. These sugar snap peas are going a little bit crazy. So I'm gonna harvest all the big ones. I just harvested my first set of green onions. The bulbs are not very big, so next time if I could just plant them a little bit deeper, I think that would help. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with green onions. I am gonna try and do these next year. I was doing these primarily because the Asian restaurant in town was interested in having green onions, and they don't ship well to Alaska. I clipped the roots off, and then I sprayed them off in the sink. Took a rubber band and wrapped it around twice in the base, one around the top. I didn't give the store any heads up, so they had already ordered green onions, but I was able to bring in 4 pounds of sugar snap peas and 8 bunches of basil. Customers had already shopped out of these displays by the time I took these pictures. In a future video, I'd like to talk in more detail about pricing, displays, signs, invoicing, and things like that. Wrangell is a Facebook town, so I am finally setting up a business page on Facebook for Ivy Path Produce. Hey, silly. I have to work in the greenhouse today. This really nice weather is supposed to continue for another week before we might get some rain. Today is a little overcast and cooler, so I'm going to work in the greenhouse filling the second raised bed. I need to get the second half filled with the soil and sand out here in the expanded garden area, and then I'm going to top it off with some compost that I shipped in last year and some rotted seaweed and some soil amendments. So this half of the raised bed is already filled with the soil and sand up to here, and then I need to get this other half filled too. filled up with soil and sand, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and fill this whole thing up a lot higher, just within a few inches of the top of the raised bed. Okay, so I've got everything filled up with soil and sand. Okay, so the plan is to just get a bunch of rotted seaweed, throw it on top here, and then what I'm going to do is, I think, kind of make like almost a transplant soil mix, and maybe put on a tarp, like throw a bag of compost, throw in some soil. I'm not going to sift anything. Throw in some sand, throw in some peat moss, put in a little bit of lime, and add a little base of fertilizer, kind of mix it up a little bit, and chuck it on top of the rotted seaweed. I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay. Okay, so I've got composting bins. I just grabbed a heap of this rotted seaweed out of the pile there and just kind of ran the pitchfork through it, and it is kind of breaking up into bits. It's way less like seaweed now. It's definitely been composting, and I'm kind of surprised that it's actually still moist. So I ordered this groovy basic fertilizer, and it's got soybean meal, neem seed meal, alfalfa, rock phosphate, langerbenite, however they pronounce that, green sand and kelp meal, humic acids derived from leonardite, whatever the hell that is. And it says 2 to 4 tablespoons per gallon, so let's say I'm gonna do 5 gallons, so that's 5 times that, so about a cup. Okay, I don't know. A cup looks like an awful lot. I'm gonna go with a half cup. Okay, we got the peat moss, we got the base fertilizer. We're gonna go ahead and put some soil and sand in there. Oh hey, you know what? We should probably use, I can't, my lime is buried somewhere. So I've got some old wood ash. I'm gonna use that. I don't know how much I'm gonna put in. Ooh, half a cup. Okay. Okay, so I've got that mixture thrown on top of the seaweed. I'm going to wait to plant this little bit of basil because I think that Tyler's going to be able to get me the rods that go through this raised bed pretty soon, and I'd like to just keep on planting from where I started today. That Alpine Creek business ended up doing some damage to the motor, cracked the boot, ripped off the fins on both sides. Well, one was dangling and Tyler had to pull it off. And can we see all the dents underneath the boat? Next week, I'll have a video about day 2 of our trip up the Stickeen River, where we climb Shake's Waterfall.